portfolio, which shows that if the vulnerability of external shocks, how does the board of management strategize to be able to take account of the vulnerability of external shocks to the bank, considering your lending portfolio as you have a huge FS portfolio? Now the third one is on your new 3-year strategy. I think it is good to know that you have been able to achieve your strategy over the last 3 years. But in your other 3 years, you are aiming to be among the top banks in Ghana, which as shareholders we think is good, but I will urge you to be cautious, else the bank may overgrow and then may be overstretched when there are shocks in the economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anthony. So the very last one, then we'll answer some of the questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Adrian Taylor, a shareholder. I will urge shareholders to turn to page 46. 46. Note 13. I think as shareholders, we know management has worked very hard to grow shareholders' value. But I want management to look at some of the expenditures. If you are able to minimize expenditure, we'll be able to further increase shareholders' value and we'll be able to increase dividend per share. If you look at advertising and marketing, it has almost doubled. For instance, for the bank, it was 2060 and it's increased to 4129, which is more than 100%. If you also look at that of the group for 2011-2012, it has almost doubled. So management will have to look at that expenditure and minimize it. The second and the last is about directors' emoluments. Directors' emoluments has also almost doubled. It's about 46 to 48%. And I will urge management to look at emoluments given to shareholders. I also, the last but not the least, we want to know the number of non-executive directors on the board, because they will be able to play an independent and indispensable role in the management of the bank. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, I would like to begin with answering some of the questions. The first ones are posed by Mr. Baini. He talked about the dividend payout, and I'm sure that's of interest to all of us citizens, including myself as a shareholder. Now, this year, we're recommending 0.035 cedis per share. When you look in the accounts on the page 20, it was, I believe, page 18, you'll notice that we had profits after tax of some 49 million. What I need to inform you about is that there is a statutory obligation on us to transfer 50% of that amount into statutory reserves, which means that of the 49 million odd profit after tax that we made, 24 million plus of it has to be transferred into statutory reserve, and that's obligatory. I mean, that's from the Bank of Ghana. We have to do that. So then that leaves another 24 plus of it. I, in my earlier statement, said the cost of dividends, about the cost of dividends for this year is 19 million. So of the 24, we actually distributed 19 of it and just leaving 5 for further business. And I'm sure anybody here who is a business person would know that when you make some profits, you don't distribute all of it, but we reinvest into the business for future growth. We've always had a dividend policy of paying dividends at a maximum of 1/3% of distributable earnings. This year, or for last year, we've actually exceeded that and actually paying 38.76%. So you see, with the limitation, even with the limitation imposed on us by the central bank to transfer 50% of that amount into statutory reserves. We've actually paid more than what we promised our shareholders when we went to IPO, that we will maintain a 33 1/3 percent payout. So I think you should understand where we come from, and that if we had even looked at this thing a bit more, I wouldn't say rigorously, but if we had been a bit more closely to retain more earnings in the bank, we wouldn't have distributed as much as 19 million out of the 24 that we had to distribute. So that's the reason for this dividend payout. The other issue in there was the matter of the operating expenses. And I do recognize that for any business to do well, one thing that you must tackle is your cost. Because obviously if you tackle your costs well, then everything else that comes is gravy. Now we as Cowbank currently have a cost to income ratio of 36%. This is against the industry average of something in the region of 50%. In the years past, about 3, 4, 5 years ago, we were recording cost-to-income ratio of about 56%. That has been brought down drastically to 36% as we speak today. So you see the effort that we have made over the years to control cost, and we are currently doing far better than the market average of 50%. So that's the kind of effort that we have applied in controlling cost. There was a comment about the attendance. Yes, I do recognize that maybe we don't have as many people here as we did last year, but I think they are competing AGMs. I think some other companies are holding AGMs, and some shareholders are multi-invested, so probably have chosen. And I'm sure when you were coming, you saw a lot of your colleagues just taking the parks and leaving. They were probably attending other meetings, so that's why you don't see all of them in this room. But on the register, quite a good number of shareholders came in to sign for it. In terms of the asset quality that one of the shareholders raised, I'll let the managing director address that, because he's the one who gives out the loans, not me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's a very good comment. That and the one on FX, foreign exchange lending. Clearly, I mean, the business of the bank is to make loans, but of course we should not make loans at a breakneck speed. If we did that, then 2 years from today we'll only be paying all that back in non-performing loans. So we seek to grow the loan book at a controlled but robust pace. And we have chosen selected industries and sectors where we look to make these loans. Right now, as we speak, the asset quality measurement, or our NPL ratio, is around between 5 to 6%. The market average is just about 13%, which means that we are well within the market average. And from an asset liability management point of view, as a policy, we should not exceed more than 10% in a non-performing loans ratio. So we take the advice and we take the comment, and we continue to ensure that asset quality is maintained. If you look at the report, there are various organs within the board, particularly the risk management committee of the board, which is direct oversight responsibility for asset quality and risk management. And then the audit committee as well, which is the committee I call the committee which gossips about me, because I'm not allowed in the audit meetings. As MD, I'm not allowed in the audit meetings at all. So the internal auditors report directly to the board, also on the loan performance and other control issues. And that's where we go and address all these matters. But the comment is well taken. On the issue of FX lending and vulnerability to external shocks, very good question. We have quite a number of significant foreign exchange denominated loans. But the key thing is that these loans are not mismatched in terms of currency. So you would also find that we have a number of long-term borrowings. These are long-term borrowings that we've taken, loans that we've taken from basically DFIs, development finance institutions, like POPACO, African Development Bank, DEG, etc. Now, these are the resources that we commit to the foreign loans that we make locally, and we try and make those loans to local companies which generate foreign exchange. So there is no currency mismatch, and so barring loan default itself, these loans should not create any currency problems for us and not make us susceptible to external shocks. But external shocks can come in various forms, you know. But in terms of currency, we are well covered. Should I take the one on branches?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, very, very good observation as well. We are nowhere to the north of Kumasi. It is not because we don't see the business opportunities, no, we do not see, we don't want to do business there. But again, our strategic plan says that we have done an extensive market research, and we do not see Bank having more than 30 branches nationwide. Okay? So the marketing team has this format that they employ in determining sites for branches. And we realize that when we follow this format, we locate a branch in an area which ends up making the branch profitable. Branch banking is extremely expensive. It costs about $500,000 to do one branch. And right now, because of the proliferation of banks and competition amongst banks, 27 banks, every bank seeking to open a branch, site acquisition has become extremely expensive. Just 2 days ago, we were offered a plot of land in Okaishi, 100 feet by 100 feet for $2.5 million for a branch. Now, if you bought that land, or it's actually on lease, or you lease that land, and you spent another $500,000 to put up the branch, how many years is it going to take that branch to make $2.5 million for you to get that investment back? So we are very, very cautious about, we do not think that you've got to have 50 branches or 100 branches to be a profitable bank. We don't. So we are very, very careful and cautious about how we roll out our branches. This year we will roll out 4 branches, and that will be it. We're not going to roll out 10 as some banks want to do. We'll do 4 because again, it is depositors' funds which you're using to go into this capital expenditure. And anytime you put money in brick and mortar in the ground, you deny yourself the chance of investing that money for returns which can go to shareholders. So our branch rollout is also carefully planned. Thank you.
Thank you. Just 2 very quick comments. A shareholder wanted to know when the dividend payment will be made. The date set is for 30th of April because there are certain procedures and logistics that have to go into getting it out of the door. So anytime from 30th April onwards, you should start receiving your dividend checks. And then there was interest in knowing how many non-executive directors we have. The board is a 10-member board, and we have only 2 executive directors on the board, being the managing director and the executive director. The other 8 are all non-executive directors. So that's the situation on the board. Now, I really would want to close the discussion on this so we can take the resolution on these accounts. So if you permit me, I beg your pardon. I now move that the accounts for the year ended 31st December 2012 and the reports of the directors and auditors thereon be and are hereby received. Would someone please rise and second this motion?
Mr. Chairman, my name is Joseph Abekabaini. I strongly second the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Baini. I now put the motion to the meeting. With those in favor of this motion, please signify by showing your admission cards, please. Thank you. Any dissenters? Okay, There being no dissenters, this motion is carried. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda, being agenda 2, concerning the declaration of the dividend, I hereby move that the recommendation of the directors to declare and pay a final dividend of 0.035 Ghana cedis per share for the year ended 31st December 2012 be and is hereby approved. Will someone please rise to second this motion?
Samuel Akwesi Adeku is my name. I second the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adeku. Are there any questions before I put this motion to the vote? Okay. Now, those in favor of the recommendation for the dividend of 0.035 cedis per share, please show by show of the admission cards. Thank you very much. Would anyone objecting also show by raising their admission cards? Okay. There being no objection, I hereby declare the motion duly carried. Thank you. The third time on the agenda is to authorize the directors to fix the fees of the auditors. I hereby move that the directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the fees of the auditors in respect of the year ending 31st December 2012. Would someone please rise and second this motion? What's your name, sir? Thank you very much, Mr. Kwaku. Thank you. Are there any questions before this motion is put to the meeting? Okay.
My name is Dick Lana. As for auditors, I'm happy they do much work for you. So before you increase their remuneration, you have to see the percentage of work. So I have no question about it. So this is a suggestion I do that. Some of them, they give them much this, but when you bring the account, I detect mistakes. So you have to be careful with it.
So you're suggesting that when there are mistakes in the account, we pay them less, yeah?
We do their work.
Okay, thank you very much. No, that was only. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, I now put the motion to the floor. Will those in favor of this motion please signify by raising your admission cards? Thank you. Would anyone objecting also raise his or her admission card? Okay, thank you very much. I hereby declare the motion duly carried. Thank you. Item 4 relates to the re-election of retiring directors. 3 of your directors required to retire by rotation at this meeting in accordance with the requirements of the Companies Code and the regulations of the bank. These directors are myself, Proud Van Persie, Mr. Malcolm Proud, and Dr. Kwabena Kwanzaa. I'm pleased to inform you that the retiring directors offer themselves for re-election. But as I'm one of these directors, as they say in the legal parlance, I'll have to recuse myself. So at this stage, I'll have to hand it over to my colleague director, Ms. Giaco, to carry on with the proceedings for the election of the directors, and then I'll resume my seat. Thank you. To you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The first director retiring by rotation is Mr. Proud Van Persie. I hereby move that Mr. Parag Van Persie, who is retiring by rotation and who, being eligible, has offered himself for re-election in accordance with Regulation 78 of the Companies Regulation and Section 298 of the Companies Act, be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the company. Would someone please rise and second the motion?
I didn't realize I was just popular.
I need recommend Yoda second one.
Thank you. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting? Okay. I now put the motion to the meeting. Would those in favor of the motion please signify by raising your cards? Thank you. Any objections? I hereby declare the motion duly carried. Thank you. The second director retiring by rotation is Dr. Kwabena Hamza. I hereby move that Dr. Kwabena Kwanza, who is retiring by rotation and who, being eligible, has offered himself for re-election in accordance